Hello, North Suburban Soccer Association. This is Dan Rotherts with Top Student Athlete Recruiting. I'll give everyone another minute to jump on. I still see some people jumping on the meeting here, so bear with me. We'll wait another 30 seconds to a minute, and then we'll get started. So thanks for joining me tonight. Still got a couple people jumping on, so bear with me for another 30 seconds or so. All right. It's a little after 7:30, so I'll get started. Again, hello to the North Suburban Soccer Association. My name is Dan Rothert. I run Top Student Athlete Recruiting, which is a small one-man shop uh, recruiting help service where I help connect college coaches and prospects to find right fit opportunities and make sure they land at great places that are a good fit for them academically, athletically, socially, financially. All those things are important and of different importance to different people. And so every kid I work with has different priorities. I was a college soccer coach for 25 years. I'm down in Iowa. I work with quite a few Minnesota kids in this process. I'm up there quite a bit, and definitely help kids connect with right fit colleges. So I'm here to talk to you tonight about college soccer recruiting. This is a webinar. It's easier to do it this way with a larger group of people. So you won't see everybody's face that's on here, but you can ask questions at the end. Um, I'll leave it open to that. If you have a question during the course of the presentation, feel free to type it in the chat or the Q&A at the bottom. I'll get to those along the way, or I may cover them as we go. So I might just cover the questions at the end, but I'll stay on as long as I need to answer any questions you might have about the process. My contact information is here at the bottom. If you have any questions that remain, we don't get to them, or they're very, very specific and you want to reach out to me, you can email me, send me a text. I'll get back to you. But I want to talk about the real scoop, the myths and mistakes, and what you can do to better your chances of playing college soccer. It's gotten pretty complicated, and it's gotten harder and harder to get recruited at all levels. The level of play is really good out there, and there's a lot of players that are fighting for, um, spots everywhere. So, but I'll walk you through it. I'm going to talk about a lot of different things tonight. Um, give you some ideas on the process and those types of things. I am recording it for teammates that couldn't be here tonight. But again, if there's any questions, put them in the Q&A in the chat, and we'll go from there. So I'll get started and really dive into this a little bit. So you should be able to see my screen. I was a college soccer coach for almost 25 years. had a lot of success. My teams went to national championship games. We were in Final Fours a lot, competed at the highest level. Um, and I was also athletic director where I oversaw recruiting as an associate AD at my last stop. And so I understand recruiting on a different level and how it works and why it's so important. It's the lifeblood to teams and to college coaches and how to be successful. So I'm going to talk about the myths and mistakes I see a lot, and I see a lot of them on a daily basis. The first myth is scholarships. Everybody kind of thinks, "Hey, I want to go Division 1, and I'm going to get scholarship money." And I'll be honest, soccer scholarships are very rare at every level. Yes, division. We'll talk about the divisions, but Division 3. There's a lot of Division 3 schools in Minnesota. They can't give athletic scholarships, but they can give pretty good money for academics or merit money, as they call it. It can be comparable to what you would get maybe at a Division 1 school, or maybe a Division 1 school doesn't have enough scholarship money to give out to everybody, so they have to make it up. Maybe just have some players that are just getting academic money. I'll talk about that momentarily. But you should not be saying you need an athletic scholarship. Rather, you should be trying to find the best value on college. It's also a great fit for you. Um, Finding those opportunities is important. And because soccer scholarships are usually partial, if there are scholarships, grades are really important. Um, can result in more money for college. And some colleges can stack soccer scholarships on top of academic scholarships, and you can get more scholarship money. So you can get, double. Some people might get a full ride in men's soccer, but if they are, maybe part of it is academic money and part of it is athletic money that equals, a full scholarship. But again, pretty rare. We'll talk about them. So men's soccer has 204 Division 1 schools. A school can give 9.9 scholarships. And I said the words can give. They don't have to give 9.9. It's up to the school how many scholarships they want to give. I know a Division 1 school that only gives one scholarship. And then the rest of the players are just walk-ons, or they just pay for everybody's books, and that's the only scholarship they're giving. There's a wide array of how many scholarships a school's given. So let's just do the math here. So there's 9.9 scholarships. It's 10 scholarships. Usually a team carries about 30 players. So that's about a third scholarship per player if you do the math, right? And everybody got the same amount. Well, guess what? Not everybody gets the same amount. So a coach might need a goal scorer really bad, and they're going to give that player a full ride. And there's no academic money for that kid because their grades aren't good enough or for some other situation. If they give that player a full ride, now they only have 8.9 to give to the other 29 players. So typically, 14 to 16 players have some pretty decent scholarship money, and another 10 to 14 players are getting academic money only if they get any, and they're paying a lot more to go to school. So understand that Division 1 doesn't mean everybody's getting a full ride scholarship like it is in some sports. Some sports it's like that. Football, women's basketball, women's volleyball, they get full rides for basically everybody on the team. Most what they call Olympic sports, soccer, swimming, I could go on and on, don't give full rides. They give partial scholarships, and the coach can divvy them up any way they want. Division 2, there's 200 teams playing Division 2. 9 scholarships is the max. So a very similar mathematical equation. If you look at Minnesota, you only have St. Thomas being the only Division 1 that plays men's soccer currently, and on the Division 2, St. Cloud State's the only Division 2 team. The rest are Division 3 teams. Division 3 teams, there's 404 teams playing Division 3. There are no athletic scholarships, but I've seen it time and time again where players have gotten better financial situations at Division 3 schools and Division 2 or Division 1 opportunities. They got a lot, they've got a great amount of merit money. It was a right fit opportunity. And then there's reciprocity. You can go to different states, around Minnesota and go to a public school potentially and get a discounted rate, because of this. You're from Minnesota, so you have a deal with Wisconsin and maybe the Dakotas to go to some of those schools. There's NAIA, which is just a different governing body. It's not NCAA. It's National Association of Intercollegiate Athletics. There's about 200 schools there. They can give up to 12 scholarships. Sometimes they have a ton of international players. Um, there's NJCAA, that's for junior college. There's different divisions within junior college, and that amounts to how many scholarships they can also give. There's Division I junior college, they can give full rides. There's Division II, they can give up to room and board, so you only pay for room and board. And there's Division III that does no scholarship money. But all in all, there's 1,400 schools playing college soccer, and so there's some, hopefully that clears up a little bit about soccer scholarships. But grades matter because you can sometimes stack them on top of each other, or it can help you get a lot of money at maybe a Division III school. So keep up the grades no matter what grade you're in. I like to state college soccer is the enrollment business, right? Don't mistake soccer, even at Division I level, for football or basketball. Soccer is not a revenue sport. It's not bringing in money. It's not making money for the college. And colleges need students to make money. They can't give everybody a full ride to stay in business, right? They need to make a certain amount per student to meet their budget. Colleges want to make 15 to 25,000 per student per year. All right. That includes basically all sports except for football and basketball. So even at Division I, a lot of kids are paying somewhere between, I would say 10 and 20,000 a year to go to school. Um, I've seen less. I've seen full rides. I've seen great opportunities, but it's not every day. Right? The kids that say I want to go to Division I doesn't mean they're going for free. Once in a while, it does, and I've seen it. So just want to clear the air with that. Another myth is if you're good enough, coaches will find you. Most scholarships and most roster spots go to those kids who market themselves. It's a business, right? And you have to market yourself so coaches know about you. So they'll come see you play. So they'll come watch a club game or a high school game or a tournament or whatever it is, and maybe they'll see, oh yeah, that kid's they can play. I'm gonna go after that player. I'd like to have them come visit campus, see it for themselves, and get them to play for me. Um, Players who wait for coaches to come find you, you seldom get scholarships or even playing at all. It's just coaches need to know about you. College soccer coaches don't have the budgets that football and basketball do. They're not flying all over the country to see everybody. And so they need to know about players so they'll go see them play. All right. If you're playing at, the USA Cup, which I'm going to be at, I'm going to come watch your teams play, I think. So that'll be exciting. But we'll talk about that towards the end. But, I think letting coaches know that you're playing, a great opportunity for maybe them to come watch you play and see if you're the type of player that either they want to get to campus or they want to keep an eye on if you're younger, and maybe recruit later as you grow and things like that. Coaches just need to know about you, so it's important to reach out to coaches, tell them your schedule, those types of things. And college coaches go watch kids they have relationships with. Um, you need to constantly let coaches know when and where you're playing, if appropriate. Don't be annoying, but let coaches know what's new. Let coaches know your schedule. Let coaches know I got a new highlight video. Let coaches know what's going on in your recruiting. Those are things that are going to really help increase, your marketability and the coaches that will want to come and see you play. So what are your chances, right? There's 450,000 high school boys soccer players. There's 40,000 college men's soccer players. So about 10%, right, of high school kids play in college. 13,000 of there's about 13,000 players in Division I and Division II. And about 1,800 are freshmen going Division I or Division II. So about 1,800 new players a year on the whole country go Division I or Division II. So it's pretty challenging. right? 2.8% of high school players play Division I or Division II. Now, of those 4,000, there's a lot of internationals. There's a lot of um, transfers. All right, I'm not going to go into the details about it, but if you factor in transfers, internationals, um, all that stuff going on. We'll talk about transfers here in a second. It's about 1,800 spots for American first year players across Division I and Division II. Right. So that's, there's about 400 teams playing. It's about 4 to 5 players per team are picking up they're picking up 4 to 5 new freshmen per team in Division I and Division II. Because they're looking at older players too now. They're looking at international players. I just talked to a coach today, picked up a 24-year-old freshman from England, right? Like, I don't know how an 18-year-old is supposed to compete with that, because that's a bit of an age difference, right? Um, so it's hard. You're up against internationals, you're up against transfers. The transfer portal has changed everything. All right, so the transfer portal is kind of musical chairs of recruiting. It's free agency. After the season in November and December, it opens up. And if a kid's not happy or they want to test a new level out or they want to transfer up, they call that leveling up. Or they want to level down and maybe go to a lower level. Um, they can put their name out there. College coaches can go on this. They can find the kid's name. They can click on them. They can get their phone number. They can reach out to them and ask them, "Hey, what are you looking at? What are you interested in?" And that player can, look to potentially transfer. They can put their highlight videos. They can text the coach that, show them some things. Um, so those things are happening. So about last year, approximately 2,500 to 3,000 entered the transfer portal in April or in November, December, and then there's an April one too in the spring. So coaches are looking for older players because they're more experienced, right? They've played a couple years of college soccer already. They might be able to make a more immediate impact. And college coaches need to win, or they lose their jobs. So they're looking for guys that can help them win sooner. And sometimes that's an older player. Doesn't mean you can't get recruited. I'm seeing it a lot. I'm seeing a lot of kids still get recruited, but you might have to work a little harder to, especially get to higher levels. Because a lot of times the higher levels are recruiting guys from lower levels. You see in Division I coaches pick up really good Division III players. After 2 years of having a pretty good seasons at those places, or junior college players, or things like that. And then the myth number 3 is that like Division III, and you can say NAI too, are bad soccer, right? It's not. It's the division of school is a philosophical choice each school makes. There's no uh, promotion and relegation like there is in the pros. Um, you're basically your school has decided, hey, we're going to be Division III. We're not going to offer athletic scholarships. That's who we are. All right. You can't win and move up and lose and move down a division, that stuff like that. But the reality is there's a wide range, right? Most people think Division I's the best, then Division II, then Division III. Kind of looks like that. The reality is yeah, Division I should be the best, right? But there's a lot of blurred lines. There's a lot of teams in Division II that could beat Division I teams, and the same in Division III that could beat Division II and Division I teams. My teams would play Division I teams all the time and do really well. We beat some Division I teams enough that they said, no more, we can't play you anymore. You're beating us. That happens a lot. Yeah, the best of the best. I'm not expecting my teams when I was coaching a Division III school to be able to go beat Clemson. I don't see that happening, right? But a smaller Division I, is not maybe as known for their soccer. Yeah, we certainly had a chance. So understand there's a lot of overlap in that scene. So don't believe that Division I's always the best choice. I've had plenty of guys that I've worked with who have chosen Division III schools over Division I schools. They had offers at both. It was a better situation for them financially. It was a better situation for them academically. They could get on the field earlier. there were a lot of reasons why they chose that. Um, this is a little video that I made. I just stop my share for a quick sec. Make sure. Sorry about that. It's a pretty funny video, pretty sarcastic, but it tells a lot of truths about uh, what I hear from kids in the recruiting process. Pretty funny. So take it with a grain of salt.
Are you going to play in college?
Yeah, probably D1.
That's cool for who?
Either North Carolina or Duke. Maybe Wake Forest or State if I have to. I'm not sure yet.
Are those coaches at the game today?
I don't know. I haven't talked to them yet. I'm only a junior.
So how do you know you can play for them?
They all sent me letters asking me to come to their camp so they could get a better look at me. So they definitely want me.
That sounds stupid. They probably just want you to come to their camp.
Plus my coach said it's an NCAA dead period and they can't recruit me until after July 1st prior to my senior year.
That's stupid too. Of course they can recruit you. I have friends who are sophomores and are committed to schools already.
I'm not worried about it. My dad's buddy said I can play D1 for sure.
You are a tool. Did you even send them video?
No, I don't have any. I think my coach was going to get some and sent to some schools randomly.
That's a pretty stupid idea. I heard they get a lot of tapes sent to them.
I'm not worried. I was all conference.
You are a tool. Don't you think most kids who want to play in college were all conference in high school? Do you have good grades?
I have a 2.5, and that's all I need to be eligible.
You are getting dumber the more I talk to you. What if you can't get into a school with that? Or what if the coach prefers athletes with better grades?
But I'm really good. My mom says so.
Your mom is stupid too. Don't you even want to look at D2 and D3 schools?
I heard they suck. I'm pretty sure I could play at any D2 school that I wanted to.
You suck. You know there are like 15,000 high schools and 1,000 colleges, so only the best players in the country can play D1. Have you ever been to a D2 or D3 game?
No, they suck.
You suck.
I helped make that with a buddy of mine, and I still laugh, and I've seen it a lot.
Are you
So, like I said, he makes all the mistakes, right? Pretty funny, pretty comical. But I hear it, right, and I see it on an everyday basis, and sometimes it's just one of those mistakes, and sometimes it's all of the same ones that kids making. There's other mistakes out there, right? But how do you avoid them? What mistakes, can you avoid? Target the right fit and have an open mind. I think that is the best advice I can give you. You got to first off be honest with yourself and don't target schools that aren't good fits. Sure, like have some target schools, have some schools you're really interested in, have some safety schools, some schools you really think, hey, I'm good enough to play there. But also have some reach schools that you can reach out to, and there might be a stretch, it might be harder to get on their team, it might be really good, they might be further away. Everybody wants to play Division 1 at the highest level. It sounds good, it looks good on the Instagram post when you decide on it, but many prospects overshoot it in the process. They only go for Division 1 because that's what they think they're good enough at, or someone told them that along the way, or they don't even know. Go to college games, go to local college games or in your area. I promise the level's really good. Get a feel for, hey, could I play out there? And really watch it. Don't just sit there and, you know, as I tell my own son, don't just go and eat the popcorn at the game and hang out with your buddies. Watch the game and say, hey, can I see myself be in that position on the field that I like to play? Am I as good as that player? And can I play at that level? Academically, don't reach out to schools that are above your academic rigor. Right? If you're not going to get into that school, um, or you're barely going to get in, you won't get much money for your academics if you barely get in there. So it's maybe not worth your time to go to schools where you might just barely get in, or you're not going to get accepted, or you're spending a lot of time spinning your wheels. Financially, target schools that are going to be in your price range. You can do financial aid estimators on most colleges these days. Do those. Get a feel for, hey, can I afford this school? Can I afford what that school is going to cost me financially at the end of the day? And I think that can really help you decide if it's a good fit for you. There's a lot of things with the clients I work with. I'm helping them make sure it's the right financial fit. I'm helping them make sure they get their best financial offer at the end of the day. They get more money potentially. Um, but it certainly is a big part of it. What's the overall experience? Do they have a winning team? Is it a fun school? Is there a great culture at the school and in the soccer program? I truly think you get out of college what you put into it. But is that place right for you? Make sure that the experience and overall value of the place is awesome. Don't contact too few schools. Like I kind of said, have a list. You know, I like to start with about 30 schools with the people I work with, have some safety schools that are, yeah, definitely probably good enough to get recruited by them, have some that might be dream schools, stretches. Um, you want to have a list and cast a wide net, diversify your options, different divisions, different academic rigors. Like if I can, everybody that goes to Harvard, nobody gets academic money at Harvard because everybody's a genius. Okay. Um, but that same kid that wants to go to Harvard, if they went to one of the schools, a small private school in Minnesota, they might get 60% off because their grades are so good and they're like the top of the class. They'd be the smartest kid of the school. That stuff can happen. Um, contact coaches from a wide variety of levels. And you're going to get a lot of potential interest across the board. And you might find a dream school as a place you never previously even heard of. Um, and really, some good advice is to go where you're wanted. When a coach wants you, you're going to have a better experience at that school. When the school wants you, they're going to take care of you. They're going to make sure you have a great experience rather than just forcing your way onto a team. And hey, I'm here. There's that kid that came to our school and they're a walk on, and we don't really care about them. And you want to be someone they care about. They're looking after. So go to a place where you're wanted. Like I said before, you make your best fit. Like the more you do at the school, the more if you go into a place, you're like, I don't like this place, you're not going to like it. If you go and, hey, I'm going to really enjoy the experience and take it for what it's worth and make the most of it, you can have a much better experience. Don't have a false sense of security, right? A lot of awards and accolades, like all conference, all state, that stuff doesn't mean you're going to get recruited. All conference in one conference is different than another conference, right? Or all state in one state is different than another state. There's no doubt about that. College coaches don't care. They're going to recruit kids who are good enough to play. A college coach decides if you're recruitable for your program. It's not your high school coach, your club coach, or your mom or dad, like the video said, right? Or your friend, dad's friend, like the video said. Um, Camp invites. They briefly talked about that in the video, and he got camp invites every time hey, this coach saw me play and they invited me to the camp. Guess what? College coaches in soccer don't make a ton of money. I did it for a long time. They need to supplement their income with camps. They're going to invite everybody under the sun to their camp. They might find a kid or two. It does happen. All right, but there's a lot of money grabs out there, and you can chase camps forever. One of the things I work with people on is making sure they're not chasing camps and not just going to camp after camp in hopes they're going to get found, but making sure that if they do go to camps, they're targeted or choosing the right ones for the right reasons, and we're getting in front of coaches that are interested in them and those types of things. And coaches go to showcases, tournaments, and combines with a plan. If there's an event, if you're playing in USA Cup, that's a tournament. A college coach, there's going to be college coaches there. There will be. If they know you're playing on field 20 at 3 p.m. on Tuesday, there's a much better chance that they're going to come and watch you play versus them not knowing you're playing or not knowing your schedule, right? And they need to know your number, your jersey number. They need to know maybe some identifying pieces like, hey, coach, this is Dan. I'm playing, on NSSA. We play at 3 o'clock on Tuesday. We play at 2 o'clock on Wednesday. You know, I wear number 30. I play center back. I wear orange shoes. Whatever you need to tell them. But if you get on that list, when coaches go to those events, you have a much better chance of them watching you play and just evaluating. You may not get a call right away, but they're paying attention. You want coaches to pay attention. Um, don't wait until it's too late. All right, recruiting doesn't happen your senior year. Now, I will say this: kids are getting recruited. They're getting looked at sophomore year and junior year for the most part. Freshman year, sometimes they're getting on radars. Doesn't mean they're getting recruited yet. There's some rules to that, but if you are going to be a senior now, it's still not too late. There's a lot of recruiting done late now because of the transfer portal. There's still early recruiting. I've had kids sign as early as September of their junior year on the men's soccer, and a little bit earlier on women's soccer. But I also have kids who, because of this transfer portal thing, like after the season, now 5 guys leave one program, and now a coach needs to bring in 5 new guys. I've had players second semester of senior year get recruited, right? Or maybe they get added more schools to the schools that were interested in them after that, because all of a sudden, they had some schools interested in them during their senior year and junior year, and then after season, it's senior year, the transfer portal musical chairs happen, and now some more schools were interested, or maybe some Division I schools showed some interest now, and previously it hadn't been at that level. So that can happen, and so things are a little bit later. They've skewed a little bit later in the cycle, but it's still, you don't want to miss the early opportunities either, because those are still happening. But coaches can't officially reach out to you until June 15th after your sophomore year. But they're still paying attention. I do think coaches are still paying attention younger. And they're getting kids on their radars, and it's, hey, this is a kid I want to continue to watch as time goes on. Don't expect your coach to help. What do I mean by that? The ability of your coaches helping you varies, high school and club. All right, you can't expect them to help you. They're busy, they have lives, they often don't have the connections and resources, and have a lot of other responsibilities. But ask your coaches how comfortable they are helping you in college recruiting, or do they have connections? You need to have everybody be a resource for you that you possibly can to help you get recruited. Maybe your coach knows a couple people. That's perfect, right? That's at least a start. Make sure those are the right things. But if a college coach doesn't trust or know your high school coach, you're not going to listen to them. They don't trust them, right? Like, if a college coach is going to listen to a reference, going to be from an expert or someone they trust. That's why I do what I do, right? I am a proper advocate. I can be in your corner and really open doors, right? I call college coaches daily. I tell them about players I'm working with. I talked to a coach today. I think they're going to offer one of my players a Division I offer, because of, I connected him. And then because of the connection, he had to play in front of him. Now he played in front of him. The coach has seen him and he likes him, and I think it's going to go down. But you need to have the proper advocates, and the more advocates you can have, the better chances are going to be. ID camps, you got to be smart about them, right? There's a million of them. Everybody's getting invited to them. If you go to a tournament, you're on somebody's list, and you're getting ID camp after ID camp email. I'm not a big ID camp chaser. I'm not a big believer in them unless you've already had a relationship, unless you've already been connected somehow, one way or the other. I do a whole worksheet and help people out with what's the return on investment. Is it worth going to that camp? If they're local and they don't cost a lot, yeah, I'm game for those, right? I think they have value, and there's a potential you can get found, and you start relationships with coaches, and it didn't cost a lot, and they're 1-day things. But if they're far away, you gotta stay the night in a hotel, and maybe some kids fly to these, right? Like, I think you really have to be smart about, hey, is it worth my time to go to that camp? And how do I know if it's worth my time or not? Making sure you get there. And then when you are there, how do you maximize the opportunity? How do the coach know you? How do they I told a player today, you need to stick around to the very end. You need to be the last player at camp. Um, Help the coach clean up and get 10 minutes of one-on-one with them at the end of the camp. Every other kid's going to leave and get out of there. You need to stay and have a one-on-one with that coach and get the real skinny on where you're at with them. So there's a lot of things I do with ID camps that, if you are going to decide to go to them, what you can do to maximize your value, but and the opportunity. But they can be difficult. But if they sound to be good to be true, don't believe the hype. Understand that camps are money makers for coaches. Beware of third party camps that are scams. They could be too good. Hey, these 20 coaches are going to be here, and you know, I'm not a big believer that those coaches are really going to be there, especially if there's some huge names on it. Um, and even college coaches aren't being truthful about their own camps, right? Hey, we always recruit 5 kids from our camp. I don't believe it, right? I truly don't. So you just got to be aware that ID camps are money makers for college coaches. Showcases, not all events are good. Not all showcases are created equal. College coaches go to certain events based on the kind of kids they're recruiting, where they can get the most bang for the buck. Um, College coaches have budgets. They can't go to every showcase, so they're going to go to ones they can see a ton of kids at that are their level. Um, Clubs advertise that these are going to be great showcases to entice kids to go to them and clubs to go to them. The reality is there's so many showcases now. It's like every weekend, right? College coaches can't go to them all. There's conflicting dates. There's level of play issues. They're not going to go to everyone. There's budgets, but there are good enough kids at every event, most likely. It's just, are you going to be in front of the right coaches? Um, Video. I'll talk about that briefly. I think you need to have a good highlight video. If you want to get recruited, like when you send a coach an email, you got to tease them with a video, right? 2 to 3 minutes in length, shows your best stuff, shows what is good about your position, shows you against good competition. Those things are important. If you're a center back, you need to show, the things a center back would do, right? One-on-one, winning the 1v1 duel, winning the air game, connecting passes out of the back and starting the attack. Can you hit a diagonal ball? All those things need to be shown in a highlight video. And like I said, 2 to 3 minutes at length. You know, does it need to have music or not? Not necessarily. Do you need to do a circle yourself or put an arrow on it so the coach knows who you are? Yes. Um, they need to be able to identify you in the video and things like that. It's definitely one of the things I do is to help make highlight videos, but gather video, but gather video with your club, gather video with your high school. Hopefully your teams are recording games at both levels. If you play multiple positions, you play one in high school, you play one in club, maybe you need to make 2 videos, right? Hey, here's me playing right back with my club team, but I play center mid for my high school team. Show your versatility. One school might recruit you as right back. One school might recruit you as center mid. One school might just recruit you because you're a versatile player, right? Those are important things. So making sure you have that is important. Maybe after each season, maybe after the summer you do a club video. In the winter you put together a high school highlight video and build it from there. I also think a good full length video, like a full game, if you have a good one, is good thing to have on your arsenal so you can share it with a college coach if they ask, right? So sometimes the coach says, hey, I liked your highlight video. Do you have any full game video? Especially coaches from further away. If you're thinking about, hey, I want to go to school far away from where you live, and a coach might ask for a full game video because it's harder for them to come watch you play live, right? So that's the rationale behind that. Some other advice, just little things I hear a lot. Be in shape when you go to events. When you go to camps and showcases and tournaments, don't go unfit. Go at the top fitness level. Coaches, they want to see that, right? And you want to give your best. You want to show your best. There's a fine line between the right amount of contact and being annoying. Like, don't be overly annoying. Attending coaches emails once a week, but if you have something to say and you already established a relationship, you can have more communication. If you just keep reaching out, you're never getting responded to, don't keep doing it. 3 strikes and you're out is the way I look at it. You send 3 emails to a coach and they never get back to you, and probably move on. They're probably looking for something different. Um, Write your emails from a computer, not a phone, because you can mess up a lot easier typing with your thumbs. Have a voicemail set up on your phone. There are coaches out there that call, all right, and their first outreach is a phone call. And if you're not there to answer a phone call, and you don't have voicemail, how do you know they called and who they are and those types of things? Check your email every day, once a day, and respond within 24 hours. And start a conversation back and forth. It could be text, it could be um, email, it could be setting up a phone call. Um, so what should you be doing? Everyone's timeline is different. Um, so don't get caught up in what your friends are doing or what this other player is doing on your team. Do you? But you got to cast a wide net, like I said before, different levels, different types of schools. Send emails to those coaches. Email coaches before before events with your schedule. When you have something important to say, like, "Hey, coach, I got a new highlight video. Check it out." Um, one email to a coach is not enough, but 5 emails and not hearing response is probably too much, right? Um, again, understand the difference between camp invites and being recruited. If it's not personalized and doesn't talk about your game, I always say this. And if you want, here's some really good advice. You get a camp email. Hey, come to our camp. We saw you play at USA Cup. Hey, coach, what'd you like about my game at the USA Cup, the game you attended? Is there anything I can improve on? If you get a response back, okay, and they say something about your game, all right, maybe we have a conversation, right? If they don't get back to you, I don't know. Maybe it's just a mass email, right? Um, I also say you can ask for a phone call. Hey, coach, thanks for reaching out. I'm so glad that you invited me to camp. Before I can commit to it, I'd love to jump on a call and learn more about your program, what you're looking for the class of 2025 or 2026, whatever you are. And if they get back to you and say, yeah, let's jump on a call, let's do that, and they're going to spend a half hour on a phone call with you, all right, then maybe there's some real stuff there. If they don't get back to you, I would just I'd let it ride. I wouldn't go down that road. So understand the difference. I think social media is a waste of time in recruiting. I truly do. Coaches don't go to social media um, to recruit. They don't go looking for players. They get enough interest via email. I promise that they can recruit kids who actually want to go to their school. It's the same for there's other recruiting businesses out there. NCSA for one, right? They say, hey, come join NCSA and coaches will come look for your profile on our site. Doesn't happen. You know what coaches do with NCSA? They go to it to find your profile to get your email so they can invite you to their camp so they can make money. They're not looking at your profile to recruit you. I promise. Um, uh, and respond to those who show interest, and don't be too good for anybody. Right? Hey, you never heard of this school? Don't not respond. Listen, maybe that coach at that school ends up getting a new job at a school you really want to be at. Those things are all things that can happen in this process. So you might find your dream school is a school you never heard of or never previously thought about. Here's a sample email to coaches to send prior to an event. Hey, coach, my name is Dan Rother. I play for BSA or NSSA, and we'll be attending the USA Cup, coming up. Say something about your game, your position, your strengths, things that stand out. Here's a link to your profile or highlight video to get a better feel for me as a player. Here's my GPA. They're going to want to know that. I'm interested in studying this. I'm interested in your college, because it stood out, because it's a beautiful idea campus and ideal location for me. Here's my game schedule for the upcoming event. Look forward to seeing you soon. Name, phone number, email, link to profile or highlight video. Um, those are the things you can do. Again, I'm recording this, so I'll send this off with some other information that you might want at the end of the day. Other common questions: am I good enough to compete in college? I think there's a place for almost everybody. I wouldn't say everybody, but almost everybody. What level is best for you? It depends what you're looking for, right? What your priorities are and how good of a player you are. It's one of the things I do is evaluate players and let them know, hey, these are some target levels based on what I've seen from you as a player, right? I'm not gonna, I have a pretty good eye for it. I know I've been doing it for a long time. So like I said, I'm gonna come to USA Cup. I'll watch some games, and if you're interested in getting an evaluation up there, I can certainly give you some insight. And I'll send an email, a follow up about that. Um, how do you develop a relationship with a college couple program you're really interested in? You gotta be a good communicator, right? Not just when you do get a phone call, when you do have a chance to say hi, you know, make sure you're able to talk to them, look them in the eyes, do things, little things that matter, and open up the door. Some of the kids I recruited, maybe not as good as other players, but they were great communicators, and they're kids I'd love to talk to on the phone. So I'd rather call that kid because he was a great communicator than the kid who just didn't say anything at all. And that moved that kid up the list, right? There was all these kids huddled together, all at the same level. Well, this kid, you know, definitely broke away from the pack because he was a good communicator. Top student athlete recruiting. What I do, I use my experience and connections as a college coach for 25 years to help prospects and their families gain more exposure, find the right fit to a college to attend and compete at, save money on college, knowing the right schools to attend, and help save them money on getting more scholarship opportunities or better offers, and facilitate the process from start to finish. So you're not chasing your tail and stressing out about the process or chasing camps or doing things like that, and helping save parent teenager relationships. Like what I like to say, because I help guide the whole thing. If there are questions, you can put them in the chat or the Q&A, or stick around and I can even open up your voice on this thing. I guess I can do that. If you wanted to email me, reach out that way, or text me, you can certainly do that as well. And you know, we can kind of go from there. But yeah, I'll be up that way. Like I said, for USA Cup, I'll get the schedule from your managers. I'll come watch some games. Um, and then if you want to chat at those events, we can certainly do that a little bit. There's questions that come up then, but if there are questions, put them in. Or I'll, like I said, stick around. I can open things up a little bit too. I can chat that way as well. So if there aren't questions, I'll send out the recording. I'll send a follow up out, and your managers will be in touch and stuff like that. But in the meantime, hope your summer's great. You're starting to think about recruiting process and what's good for you. And if there are questions, either now or later, you know how to find me. Either it's email or text or those types of things. All right, I'll stick around another minute or two. Thanks for joining me tonight. I saw a hand up, so I'll open you up. If you have a question, you're welcome to. Oh, sorry about that.
Can you hear me now?
I can. I
Yeah,
can.
I was just saying, like the chat isn't working. Like we
Oh,
tried.
thank
Yeah,
you.
it's like locked out. That's all.
That's all right. I appreciate it. Oh, yeah. Okay. Q&A is working, I think, so that's okay.
There we go. Okay.
Excellent. Thanks.
Yeah, yeah. I just want to say thanks for your time tonight. It's been very informative, and we appreciate that. So
Yeah, I could go on and on. So, talk about it all day, every day. So,
I bet.
if there are questions, feel free to reach out. So, no, thanks for telling me that.
Yep.
There was a question: what level league are you looking for players to be in when observing? Every league. It's a great question. Every level. I mean, I got kids of mine that go to Division 1. I got kids of mine that go to Division 3, junior college. You know, finding the right fit is the important thing. I think there's a lot of overlap, right? There's kids that are good enough to play, maybe higher level, but chose a lower level because of the academic piece or the those types of things. So I think it's all up in the air in terms of I'm trying to help kids just find right fits where they're going to have a great 4 years and really enjoy their experience. So that's the most important part. Great question. I'll start sending videos probably sophomore year. Maybe second semester sophomore year, after high school season sophomore year. Coaches aren't really thinking too far ahead of that on the boys' side. but I think after your high school season, sophomore year, is probably a good starting point if you haven't done it yet. But if you're older than that, I'd start sending sooner than later, right? So, um, but I think that's a good starting point. I think coaches start paying attention, from recruiting wraps up with one class, at the end of that time, and then it's starting up for the next group. So I think that's a good time to just get on radars. But there's nothing else. I appreciate everyone joining me tonight, and then I'll send a follow up. And if anyone's interested in an individual meeting to set up, I will send that in the follow up. So how to do that? We can set up a meeting to chat a little bit. So I'll send that in the follow up, and definitely sort that out with you and things like that. So I'll make sure that that's taken care of. You can send me an email or text you, and I can send you a link to set that up. A link to my calendar. So that's great. Thanks again. I'll follow up and hope this was helpful. And if there are questions, feel free to reach out. I'm an open book, trying to help kids, find great fit opportunities. So thanks again.